Hey guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Pete.
We're two friends with a combo of 7 kids ranging from toddlers to 20s and 2 crazy husbands.
Our paths were not easy. With childhood battle wounds, divorce, second marriages and all, we somehow found each other. And together we talk real life, laugh, cry, and figure out how to survive the day.
Music is by Dustbowl Champion. To hear Dustbowl Champion's newest hits, search Dustbowl Champion on Spotify. Hey guys, it's Ash and Pete.
Hey, we're back.
We are back.
We're back, and we are going to dive right back into where we kind of left off.
Yes.
Yeah, last episode we talked about adding babies and
all of the changes.
And I think we ended the episode really kind of focusing on the pressures that we put on ourselves and that are just kind of put out there in the universe that we kind of get in our heads on what we have to do and how we have to be and the right way and the natural way.
Yes. All of that good stuff.
All that stuff. So I really want to keep going with that. Just because I think it's so important because I think it carries us through every part of it.
I was just going to say that it just continues on. It's not something that, oh, well, now you gave birth and so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Or you've decided to breastfeed or not breastfeed. And so you don't have to worry about that. It really is as you're raising your children and getting your kids into school and then everything that comes along with, I feel, every single age. There's always something that, am I doing the right thing?
Right.
Should I have done it this way?
Right. Or
so
this
way.
We have this persona almost that we have to do these things and then that makes us these good moms. Right?
Yeah.
Because we've done these good things.
Yeah. A good parent checkoff list, so to speak.
Yeah. And that your kids are only bad if you're a bad parent. You know what I mean? I remember thinking well before, even Tristan, it's you think of when you see naughty kids. My kids will never be that way. Oh, yeah. I would never. Oh, my gosh. How embarrassing. What is the matter? What are they doing?
They must be horrible because they
must have no structure.
Right. Yeah. They must not be strong parents. Mm-hmm. They must spoil their kids. Mm-hmm. They give them everything.
Right. Because
otherwise their kids would not throw a tantrum like that.
Yeah. That's the way it works, right? If you're a good parent, then your kids are perfect, right?
Your kids are perfect and do everything correct. They're never naughty.
Yeah.
And life is just fantastic. Yeah. Rainbows and sunshine all the time.
Mm-hmm. Not.
Yeah. Except that's not how it goes.
So no matter what, not no matter what you do, obviously you want to do those things. You want to try to do the right thing.
Yes.
Have structure and stuff. But I look at my situation and I think we're now at toddler stage. So we've gotten past, we survived the nursing and newborn and up every 2 hours and going back to work. And even that's a big thing. And I think
are you a good parent if you go back to work? Yeah. I think especially as moms, it's kind of whichever route you go, you're probably always going to feel guilty. I should have been a stay-at-home mom because, and then there's stay-at-home moms that I know feel like people look at them as less than. Yeah. You're just a stay-at-home mom. No, you're not just a stay-at-home mom. You're a way stronger mom than I am because I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
I would have been a freaking disaster.
So it's funny because when I had Tristan, I was too young and we were not financially in a place for me to be a stay-at-home anything. I needed to get back to work.
Right.
I did stay home with her till I think she was probably 6 or 7 months old. And then I went back to work and I kind of slowly got into that transition of going back full time and all that. Well, I always wanted to, like, I always felt guilty, right?
Yeah.
Being at work all day.
Yeah.
And you're at work Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
8 to 5. By the time you pick them up and then get home.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of hours left in the day for them.
Bedtime is like 7:30, 8,
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of time during the week with them. And I felt guilty. And even when people thought, like, people would say, well, when she starts school, she's going to be even busier and you'll be fine. No, it didn't stop.
No.
The guilt still came because then I wanted to be in the classroom with her.
Exactly.
I wanted to be the mom that could participate and like be the classroom mom that cut cute shit out for the teachers. Right. And like I wanted to be that parent. I wanted to be the parent that people knew when I dropped my kid off, that staff knew they didn't just know her, but they knew me because I was involved. Exactly. Right? And I think that's why I was really heavily involved with PTC. Yeah,
I agree.
I worked during the week, so I couldn't be there in the classroom. Yeah. But I could be there after hours.
Exactly.
And I could take time off to be there for fundraisers and events. And I would take that load home and work on those things on my time. And then I was a part of the school, which was part of the community. That's kind of how I took it. It's my community, it's my daughter's school, and I want to be a part of it. And I absolutely loved that. But I always had that guilt of, I wish I could have been
even being involved in the PTC and, taking chair positions and being on the board and things like that. It still is one of those things where I wish I could be in the class, and I wish I could be more involved. I mean, we took on a lot. Yeah. We did do, a lot of stuff. For the PTC. Yeah. But it's still, and I think that's with a lot of things, not just our kids, but a lot of things that we involve ourselves in, is that we still feel like we're not giving enough, but I think our kids are like an extra hard point because we just want to be everything for them, Right. Yeah. And my kids I'm like that annoying parent that I think, Hayden's last year that I did it, of course, was 6th grade, but for their birthdays, I would always take the day off and go into their classrooms. And I'm sure as Hayden got older, 5th and 6th grade, he's probably like, oh my gosh, Mom, he never said anything to me, and he was always like, no, that's fine, but I always wanted to be there as much as I could. And working, it is like you pick those 1 or 2 days throughout the year where you can be in the class. Yeah. But I would have been there every dang day if I could have.
Yeah. So then we fast forward this, right? Because then now I'm in a different, different position in life when I have Gigi, right? Yeah. And I knew when we were going to have kids that I didn't want to work full time. Right. And so then I leave my job. I get a new job where I am part-time and I actually really enjoy my job. Yeah. And it can, and I take my time. I didn't get back to work until Gigi was about 6 months old. Mm-hmm. Put her in daycare 3 days a week. And we're only only working 3 days a week. But as I'm enjoying my job, and the job is now evolving. Right. And it's getting busier, and it's great, but it's getting busier. Right. So I have that, right? Like I'm trying to balance, and I want more out of my job because I really like it. Yes. And I want to take those extra steps, but how am I going to move up and be, how is this going to be a career if I'm only part-time? Mm-hmm. So then I stay part-time. I add another one in the mix, right? Then I have Danny, and balancing work and kids. And honestly, I now work in the office 4 days a week. Yeah. I still work 5 days a week. I still work full time, but I'm only in the office 4 days a week now. And I love that extra day that I get to have with my kids, those moments. Mm-hmm. But I learned working 3 days a week, and especially this last year with COVID, and I had to be home a few times, like more. I am crazy for always wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, because even those 2 extra days that I'm home with my kids, I was like, oh my gosh, I am exhausted. I am stressed out. These kids are like driving me crazy. Yeah. Those were my hardest days.
But I think it's difficult too when your littles are so close in age. That makes a big difference. It really does. Because I think having a little one and a newborn is very difficult. Plus, you are a very, like you mentioned before, you'd be breastfeeding and you're thinking about all the things that you have to do.
Yes.
For me, that's not me. I'm sitting there breastfeeding and I'm like, forget it that my house is a disaster. Who cares if I have this, and this to do? I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. That's just not how I am.
But can I tell you, I'm envious of that, because
you shouldn't be.
No,
You've seen my house.
No, I have, and your house is fine. It's
no, it's not.
Fine. I am envious of that, because I really feel like, when they say like dirty floors or a dirty house, make for, it's home, right?
Right.
It's just you enjoying your kids. And I have to mentally remind myself of that. Like, not everything has to be on a schedule, Priscilla. Not everything has to be put away and neat and tight. And it's okay, and you have to just let shit go.
My kids are 11 and 14. I don't have an excuse for a dirty floor or any of that.
But letting shit go is like so difficult for me to like just let it like.
I'll tell you what though, letting stuff go, like in the moment, I'm not thinking about those things, but don't worry, I'm going to have anxiety about it later.
I know you will.
And I'm going to let it build up, and it's going to make me so anxious, and I'm going to let it build up, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and let it build up, and I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like I'll be okay with those moments. Like I didn't feel like I had to slow down to breastfeed or anything like that, because I didn't think about those types of things, but I'm also not the main housekeeper in our home too. So that makes things different, like there are things that obviously my own things that I need to clean up. Jason's not taking care of my makeup stuff, and, he washes the laundry, but I have to take care of my own clothes and that kind of thing, but I'll let my clothes stack up after he washes and folds them.
Well, okay. And so we're talking about that pressure that we put kind of on ourselves and stuff. And that's the other thing, is that I think like most people, it's like, as the woman, you're the cleaner, you're the this, you're the that, you're the homemaker. You're the homemaker a lot of times is what the
perception is.
It is the perception. But you're not in your home.
Right.
He is. But it works.
I hope.
Well, no, but it does.
Sometimes I'm like, please don't ever divorce me because I don't do enough laundry.
But it works. And that's the other thing, is it's like, if it's got to work, right? But it's not always a one cookie cutter for all.
Right. Yeah. We did mention that. Like the way you do what you do is the way that it works, the way that's right for your family. And that's why it's not, everyone has to do this, and this. And everyone does their own thing.
And I think for me, I have that. It's the pressure of, and I think a lot of women have it, of balancing your careers and balancing your children.
Yeah.
And for sure. I love being home with the kids, even though I have moments where I'm like, oh my gosh,
right.
They're not listening. They're not taking a nap. They're whatever. They're all over the place. I love being home with them on Fridays.
Yeah.
Because it slows my morning down. No one's in a hurry to get ready and get out the door. I don't care if we don't, and I try not to plan too many things on our Friday. I try to leave that for the weekend. I don't care if we're in our pajamas all day. If I get up and I do me and I come back and I shower and I'm with the kids and we're in our pajamas all day, who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And that's really good though, because you need those moments where you're not worried about anything.
No.
especially because right now they are so young. This is, they really are only so little for so long.
I know. And these are such great times. And these are also such challenging times.
Oh gosh.
And I will tell you that I think that I think that when you have toddlers, I think it's almost like God's preparing you for teenagers. Those toddler years are so stressful sometimes. And it's interesting to see how the two parents handle those.
Yeah.
moments.
So a couple of things. One is that toddlers are so much easier than infants, but so much harder.
Yeah.
Like they're so much easier because now you're not waking up every few hours. You're not worrying about that, depending on what age in like the toddler range they are.
Right.
You're not like doing diapers anymore. It's a lot easier in that aspect, but they're so much easier when they don't talk. And I know now you're dealing with why?
Or how
Dad,
about
do you have a dad? Yeah, this person's my dad. Why? Why are you asking me why you're...
Or when you have, okay, I'll give you an example today as I'm trying to run 1,000 errands today with the kids. This is why I don't plan things on a Friday. But when I did, I had to go get this stuff done. And I took the kids with me and I'm trying to get through things. And it's like, I have to use the restroom.
Always.
Great. I love having to use a public toilet with a toddler, two toddlers.
That's the worst part. I mean, one toddler's bad enough in a public restroom, but two.
So I'm like, Danny, don't touch anything. I'm repeating myself as I'm trying to hold Gigi over the toilet, all this stuff. And then we get out and we're still shopping, and as I'm checking out, Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, you just went to the restroom. What do you mean you have to go to the restroom? I have to poop. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? We couldn't handle all of it all at once the first time.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of taking my time with Danny, but this is why. Because then what's going to happen is I'm going to get in the car and then Danny's going to say, I have to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, go in your damn diaper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Oh gosh. Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
It's tough. And toddlers are challenging a lot of times because I think that they're starting to grow their personalities and it's not always on your time.
Right.
With everything, even with babies, with infants and all of that, it's not on your time.
Right.
But also I just feel like it's challenging with each parent, with the parents, because I feel like when you're stressed and then the other parent, the way they react to your stress, it causes a lot of stress on your marriage.
It really does test you because there's a lot to do with, even if this is how, this is where I stand and this is where you stand as far as parenting goes, there's still I am always going to react way more high strung, way crazier, and I'm going to be on a whole other level. And Jason is always going to be so much more calm. He's always going to be so much better about reacting to the boys. If something goes wrong, my reaction is to just go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And I'm just on it. And I'm like a maniac and a crazy person. And I feel awful later about it. I feel like the world's worst mom. Right. I'm the most horrible parent ever. And Jason, sometimes Jason will be like, you need to calm down, you know, because the way I will snap at the boys or something that I tell them. And I'm like, and then I look at him like, don't you tell me. But in reality, no, really he's 100% correct. Yes. I do need to calm down. But I also am a crazy person, so don't tell me to calm down.
Yeah.
That's never going to help. So
I think that's one of probably the worst things. However, I do say it. I do say it.
You tell it to Tony.
Yeah. Because he's, in all honesty, like, even though I'm the one that's like, da, 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 da,
right.
For the most part, I understand, like, I'm pretty patient with the girls as far as, like, I give it like a chance after a chance after a chance. And I repeat and I repeat and I repeat because they're little. They're
when you say the girls, you need to say the little girls.
The little
because
girls.
It's funny because you and Tony are flip-flop.
Yes.
He is very patient with T.
Yeah, and I am not.
And then he is not as patient with the littles.
Yeah.
And you are very patient with them.
I think
it's probably an age level kind of thing.
Yes. And I think that I just think that sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll give you a story. So today, he's like, I'm getting out of the shower and he's like, what did you do with it? Where is it? And I'm like, what is going on? It's like, you don't touch it. You don't touch it. Well, Danny grabbed, Tristan made us these ring holders on the side of our bed. They're the cutest thing from our wedding,
yes,
right?
So sweet.
And so he hangs his rings there. Well, he's a dummy. Okay.
He needs to put it on the dresser.
Hello. Why would you have them there? I love it and I leave it there, but I don't keep my rings there. Not right now. I used to before I had little kids.
Yeah.
And so the girls love grabbing the ring. Of course. Right? So Danny grabbed his rings and one of them he couldn't find. And so I'm like, you need to walk away and I will look for the ring. And he's like, well, she's grabbing my rings. I go, well, it's your fault for leaving them there. Why would you think that would be acceptable for a toddler?
This 20-month-old isn't going to touch it.
Hello.
She's going to touch it.
She's going to touch it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, common sense here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes it's like it's like that. He's not looking at it like
she's 20 months.
She's 20
months. He doesn't. And I think that's where you do.
Yeah.
And then with Tristan, you're like, you're 15.
Yeah.
Right.
So get it together.
Yeah. And he's just like, and I don't know, maybe it's a step parent kind of thing because I know that I'm a lot harder on the boys than I am on the girls.
Yeah.
But so that could be why he is so much easier on T. But it could also be that she's at a different comprehension level than the littles are. The littles, they are so small and they can't comprehend his maybe reactions or his frustrations, whereas T can comprehend those things.
Yeah.
And T's, he's not T's mom, so, she's not wanting to be as hard on him as she does on you. You know what I mean? Like she's definitely more tough on you. Like as far as like the way she interacts with you is different than the way she interacts with him too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about, kind of like touch on the marriage stuff and really kind of stepping away because like I said, it's hard when they're little and you're sleep deprived or your body is full of all of these hormones and things that are changing. But then as the kids start to get into their toddler years, it's a lot because you're having to constantly be on it and be on a routine and on a schedule. Yeah. And you're having this little person who's the love of your life, but who is not listening.
Yeah. And also will try you more than anyone else in your life.
And it's trying and it's a little stressful and it can cause some major stress with you and your partner. So We'll be right back. Hey guys, we're back.
We are back. We were going to discuss how important it is to focus on your marriage, and then my husband was just so annoying just now that maybe we won't. Goodness.
I know, and you're not even having to deal with toddlers right now.
I know, but he's dealing with your toddlers, and he's like so obnoxious to them. He's like, we're sitting here getting ready to start, and all of a sudden you just hear Jason say something super loud, and then one of the girls is like, ah! He won't stop messing with them. He drives me crazy. Anywho's
then. So, okay, so toddlers, and I and obviously, like, this topic is very relatable for me right now in my life, right? They are, and I will say, like, 3 and almost 2, they're at very different stages in their toddler years.
Yeah. I mean, a month is so big especially for Danny.
Right.
At like almost 20 months, 1 month is a big chunk of time. They have so much growth and things change so much.
It is.
And so quick at those ages, I feel.
Yeah. And I think that one thing that we have really focused on, I mean, I limit although today I did go out and about with the kids, I really limit my adventures on my own with the kids at stores and stuff. It just is usually a little bit of a mess. I mean, we're lucky if we can get in and out without, meltdowns, potty breaks.
I was never good, like, until the boys were big enough to, like, sit and listen. Like, you don't have to tell them, don't touch that, don't touch this. And, when they're at, like, Danny's age and probably even sometimes Gigi's age, it's like you put them in the cart, but they want to get down. Like, they always want to get out. And it's like, I can't let you out because you touch everything.
Right.
Like,
well, okay. And then I've got 2. So I've got one in the seat and then one in the big part because she doesn't fit in the seat. But if I have to do too much, then I can't. This is why Instacart is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I Instacart all my groceries. Right.
I know you came in with some things and I was like, oh, you shopped for yourself today?
I know. I actually went into Target because usually I just do a drive-up pickup order. But I really try to avoid that because
Target carries Siete.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. I try not to shop. So
I know.
Even though I love Target, I really haven't been in Target for a while.
I really just try to avoid stores because of my kids.
Yeah, kid. And that's like Jason's good at, I don't want to, like, pump up my husband and
like he's super awesome and the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, I hate to sound like this because trust me, I just told you how I want to murder him and I'm not even outside with him, But like when the kids were little, like in an infant carrier and a stroller, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not going anywhere by myself with them. Mm-hmm. No, that's too much work. It stresses me out. By the time I get them into the car or out of the car into the cart or stroller, I'm stressed out because I'm hot and I'm flustered. And now I'm stressing about by the time we get into the store, what's going to happen? Are we going to the restroom?
Imagine doing it all wearing a mask.
Oh, gosh, no. Ew. I don't want to do anything wearing a mask, first of all. Second of all, no, because I was telling Jason when we went to the store before I came here, I was like, I had to use my inhaler because in the heat, it really messes with me. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be able to wear a mask all summer.
Yeah.
Like I can't breathe in my own hot air it makes it so hard to breathe.
But I know what you're saying because even and there are times where I'm carrying Danny and I'm holding Gigi and I got this mask on and I have this, backpack diaper bag that weighs freaking, why does my diaper bag weigh 3,000 tons?
As much as your kids?
Yeah. Oh, because I have to carry 17 snacks, 2 water bottles, 17 diapers and wipes, and it's like, 3 changes of clothes. I mean, there's just always all these things, right? So, when I'm always hot, and then with my mask, And Danny was, for a while, she kept yanking at my mask, and we'd be in the store, and I'm like, oh my God.
I would just let her take it off me. Like, sorry, my kid's playing with it, so I can't wear it. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I don't know. Jason's always been so good at that. Just like he can be at home alone with the boys when they're little, and I'd come home and the house is clean. And I'm like, you didn't pay any attention to the kids. How can you do all of the cleaning and laundry and everything? And you must have done nothing with our kids all day long. Because I felt like if I was at home with the kids, I was not getting anything done.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, what are you doing? Like, did you talk to them at all?
I feel like I am super accomplished if I can get through a couple loads of laundry with the kids.
And Jason would have everything done. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And he can go to the store with them.
And that used to be a thing. Like, I used to think when the days that I was home, I would have this guilt when Tony would come home from work and dinner wasn't done and everything. And I was like, I'm home. You're at work.
Yeah.
And I don't even have, like, you still have to come home and help me because I don't have dinner done, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, Jason, what were you doing with our kids? Because you've done everything. So you couldn't have been paying. And he's like, I'm just good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a great multitasker. Like, I'm very, I get on one thing and then I move to the next and then I'm all over the place. So I'm not great at like accomplishing a task and taking care of someone. It's not my jam. Not that it's not my jam. It's just not something I'm good at.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I say, like, I would have been a horrible stay-at-home mom because I would expect myself to keep the house going, and I would not have done a good job at that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe now I might be a semi-okay stay-at-home mom now that my kids are so old and I don't have to worry about actually taking care of them during the day. But no.
It's tough. I mean, I think working, whether it's full-time or part-time, and having kids is tough. I think staying home with your kids is tough. And honestly, I don't know. It's so much harder.
It is. I don't know how you stay sane because there are times where you're like, I know that there were times Jason would come home and it's like, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Like, it's your turn. If I was at home with them all day, you've got to do it because I need a break.
You got to check out for a second.
Yeah, I need to check out. And not that I, don't love my kids or anything, but it is physically and mentally exhausting to care for other people.
And you have to, and I recognize it. I recognize that when I go away for, even if it's just an hour and I go run an errand without the kids and I come back, I'm like, hey,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes you got to kind of remove yourself from the moment. And hopefully, if you are a stay-at-home mom, hopefully your spouse is understanding. I think in most healthy marriages that have, or relationships that have one of the partner stays home with the kids, I think they realize what it intakes. And I'll just say this, like, no matter what you do, and I think we have a hard time as moms, we dive so far in with our kids, and it's amazing because they are our lives. They're the most important little things in our lives.
Yeah.
We run our life around them.
Yeah.
And we try to do what's best for them.
And we try to do everything for them.
But in the meantime, sometimes we don't take care of ourselves with that. We put ourselves on the back burner a lot. And
included in that too is putting your partner on the back burner.
Yes.
Like, you may be so focused on your kids that you're on the back burner, but your relationship is also on the back burner. And it happens. I mean, I think it is so super common. It's so easy to do because it's easy to get wrapped up in doing everything you possibly can for these little people.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes because we did it happened to us. Jason and I got into like a not great situation because we did allow that to happen. And I did not focus on him. I did not focus on us. And it was not good. And it, like, it's something that now I realize I used to do. Mm-hmm. And I try to be very careful about I try to pay attention to those types of things, and I try to be very good about if Jason says he wants to do something, doing that, making sure that I am putting him first. Because even though obviously my kids still need me, I think that it's so important for my kids to see. And sometimes I do still feel bad. Like I feel like Jason and I are away from our kids a lot, but I think that it's important for our kids to see us putting our marriage first.
Yes.
And I don't think our kids think like, oh, mom and dad don't love us. Sometimes they do make little comments and say stuff, but I do point out to them, don't you want your dad and I to be like, to spend time together, to have that alone time? Because it's really important for us. And they get it.
Yeah. And in reality, I think it's what we all struggle with, and what we all like have a hard time doing, which is it's a balance.
It is a balance. It's hard.
You're balancing your, let's say, professional life. Mm-hmm. You're balancing the kids. You're balancing your personal, maybe you, your friends, whatever. Mm-hmm. You're balancing your husband. You're balancing your extended family. So whether that's your parents, your siblings, your whatever, and you're trying to balance it all, and you're spreading yourself like,
so thin.
It's so thin sometimes. And but it's so important to focus on your husband or your spouse, because like we've said in the episode before, eventually one day your kids leave.
They do.
And you're so right when you say it's important for the boys to see you guys together and that healthy marriage together. I look and I think, my personality is very da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I know that I know in my marriage, I know with my husband, like I try to make it a point to just say, I appreciate you and I love you and give him a kiss. And it may sound like, oh, okay. But it's like, honestly, it does make a big difference. Like he really does appreciate that I just express that to him, you know? And I try to say it often, because I know there are many times where we don't even, we're go, 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 go. Yeah. And it happens so often. Yeah. And it happens and it starts. And you don't notice when you're neglecting that aspect of your life. Yeah. And it's very easy to overlook it and to think that it's okay. The kids need me. It's okay. Like, we'll be fine. We're okay. Like, we love each other. And that's great. However, you still, and I think a lot of times, and I could just be saying it because when things went on, like when Jason and I started going down that road, I think was easy for me to not really notice, because Jason is very affectionate and he's very he's very, I don't want to say like he's very into me, like, oh my gosh, he's so into me, right? So into me. But he is very much one of those people where he's not going to just be like, whatever, like he's always going to be very complimentary and things like that. Yeah. So I wouldn't it's not something that I notice that I'm doing these things that make him feel like he's not important, because I don't notice, because I'm putting 97% into our kids. Yeah. And that's not maybe your personality to be as complimentary like that. Like you're not going to be like, dang babe, you look good in those jeans.
No, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that. I will tell him like, thank you so much for doing the laundry, or thank you for dinner. Like I do tell him those things. Yeah. But I'm not like, damn, you look sexy. That's just not who I am. Yeah. So like Jason will say that kind of thing. And then, if I'm tired, I'll be like, shut up, you're annoying kind of thing. Right. But so it's very easy when you're still getting that type of attention from your husband to brush him off
and not realize you're not giving it back.
Yeah, you're not meeting his needs like that. And not like, oh, you're not doing anything for him, but like they do still need your attention. They do still need to know that they're important.
Well, you're right. And I'll say this too. And I catch myself with this too. Like you said, you tell them like, thank you for doing the laundry and stuff. And I'll say like, thanks for throwing out the trash or whatever. But it can't always be about the things,
right?
The things in the house, right?
Yeah.
Like it has to be like, I have to go out to him and pinch his ass, or I have to do something that like, that we're still married. Like there's still a relationship, an intimate relationship.
Yes.
That has
you have to have that.
You have to, because if you lose that, you're right. You just become roommates.
And that's what happened. And I'm sure we'll have a longer, more in-depth conversation, but that happened to us.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it because for me, like
you're just parenting and you're living life.
Just getting through the day, right? Like I'm just literally surviving.
Yeah.
And my kids are alive, my husband's alive, I'm alive, like it's fine, whatever. But relationships need more than just survival.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to not focus on those things, but it's so important to focus on those things.
Yeah.
Because it really can be the end to a marriage.
Yeah.
You know, it could be over.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you lose from that. Like, thankfully, Jason and I were able to come back, you know, but not everyone's able to.
No. And I think that, as we get a little bit older into our relationships, maybe even as our bodies change, whether that's because of kids or just getting older or whatever, or any of that, I think that we lose that. Like, we have to remember that we married this person not just because they were our friends.
Right. Yeah.
You married this person because you were into them.
Exactly.
And you have to carry that through.
Yeah. Because it is very easy to, like, I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, I always tell Jason, like, I'm sorry, I think medications I take have a lot to do with how much I'm showing that I'm into him. You know, like that changes a lot to do with your drive and stuff like that. And like, I don't know if it's that or what, but I also, like, through going through ruts and going through those points where it's like we did become just roommates, and that's not healthy, you know. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't think the kids ever thought anything was wrong or whatever, but I also want my kids to know what, like, a passionate love is, you know. Like, when my kids come down and Jason and I are laying on the couch together, or Jason walks by and he slaps my butt and my kids see it, like, and people might be like, oh my gosh, like, why? And I say things to my kids, but I tell them like, yeah, like I want my kids to know that we love each other.
And it's easy to be like, okay, whatever, like get off, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we have a friend and they have grandparents, and the grandparents are, you know, they're older.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they get out of the car. You know, that he holds her hand when they walk up for dinner. Like, there's things like that.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I never want to lose the spark in our marriage to where we can enjoy each other throughout all of the stages. Because one day when we're that age, I still want to hold your hand, and I still want you to hold my hand.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be that old couple who it's like, oh, like, you know, like, sometimes you hear old people and it's like, it seems like
in the other room.
Yeah. Like gosh, they seem like they don't even want to be married to each other. They're just married because it's been that long.
Yes.
You know, like, it's like, I don't ever want to, like, I want to have fun with him forever. Like, I want to still go on trips and enjoy each other and enjoy each other's company.
And I believe,
like, day to day.
I believe to do that and to get there, to be there, it takes work on both ends, and it takes work going through all of the stages of marriage and life.
Mm-hmm. Kids will test you.
Kids will test
different stages of your life will test you. I mean, because you could even not have kids and just get stuck in a rut, you know? Yeah. Like it may not be that you're just so focused on your kids. Maybe you're so focused on your job, or maybe you're just so used to stuff. Like things are just the way they are and you're not even realizing
You don't even see it.
Because I mean, I don't think that I necessarily needed my kids to be a distraction to get me to, forget that I need to focus on Jason. Mm-hmm. I probably could have been just distracted by freaking television shows, to be quite honest. I am very, I am very ridiculous, to be quite honest. I could be distracted by anything. But, it could be anything in your life.
Well, and, and I, like I said, it starts, I mean, I see it, I've seen the changes already as we raised infants and toddlers, and now we're raising a teenager. Mm-hmm. And I know, and even having Tristan he's been a part of our life. He's been a part of Tristan's life since she was in kindergarten, like forever,
Right.
That I look and think, even as they get into the school age and they get older and they're doing sports and they're going to things and you're whatever.
And
it's back. I mean, you're running all around, and some parents more than others even of like, go, and running your kids to this
and when you have two littles, if they're not in the same thing, one of you may be going over here, one's going over there. Yeah.
And it's the connection that you still have to kind of,
you still have to. Exactly.
Because when they become 15 years old, almost 16, mm-hmm. and you are like, I'm going to pull out all my hair because my teenager is driving me nuts.
Yeah.
You need to have that supportive.
You do. You need to have that person who is like by your side, helping you to not pull your hair out, talking you through it,
maybe
or just making you a drink. Like they see you and they know what you need, because you guys are still, you have to have that connection still. You can't get through life with them forever without it.
And then it goes on past that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to wrap it up here, but,
we'll probably have to discuss a little more into toddlers and that type of thing. I think we did touch a bit on toddlers, but I still think there's probably a little bit more. And then just kind of go from there.
Kids, they're crazy.
Yeah. Kids, they are. Yep. I don't know if you could hear that one, but she is the craziest.
Right, they're all coming
She's
in
the craziest of them.
Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for swapping with us. Segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today.